What's up, guys? Meredith with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we are checking out the AWE OFG dual rear exit exhaust system with the chrome silver tips fitting all 2019 and newer 5.7 liter Ram 1500s with the factory dual exhaust system. Now, if you're looking for a deep rumble out of your 5.7 to bring some better street presence to your truck and put a smile on your face every time you rip on the gas, this system will be one to do it with. Now, while it will add a more aggressive, low-tone sound out of your V8, it's not going to be obnoxiously loud, and with AWE's well-thought-out construction, you'll have no drone in the cab, which is going to be great for the spirited daily driver. With that being said, I am going to give this one a 3 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being stock and 5 being wake the neighbors loud, landing this right in the middle with its volume level. This system will be well designed to bring that character out of your V8 without any drone and rasp in the high and low RPM ranges. Cruising on the highway, if you travel a lot or commute to work, this is going to remain comfortable while still being able to hear the exhaust when you get on it. Now, that's thanks to the 180 technology. That 180 resonator here acts like a straight pipe for the flow, but the reflection chambers on either side or surrounding that straight pipe are going to take those annoying frequencies that you'd otherwise hear out, especially in a more aggressive system. Now, in addition to the sound, paired with the cutouts on the rear bumper, the large chrome tips keep it very classic, but add that edge to the rear end that the factory tips simply just don't bring to the table. This is made of a full 3-inch mandrel bent T304 stainless steel material. The 304 is going to be completely rust resistant, keeping this finish for years on end, especially those tips back there. And AWE even says that this is Apocalypse approved, and as over the top as it sounds, the 304 will hold up to any condition. The piping here paired with the straight through resonator will also help with flow, and while this isn't a power mod, you will see less restriction out of this system compared to your factory one, freeing up a couple horsepower and torque, making it a great supporting mod. To top it all off, the polished 5-inch double-walled slash-cut tips on the end. Again, those are also going to be made of 304 and sharpen up the look of the back even without the sound. This will be a pricey choice at about $1,400. Now, a lot of the time, exhaust does come down to your personal preference in the sound and sound level. So if what you're looking for is a smooth, deep tone in a system that's going to be in the middle, and if the system is going to hold up in the long run, which this one definitely will, with high quality materials, this is going to bring that to the table. In addition, this is going to work with your factory valance, so it's going to take a lot of the question out of the install, making it a very easy way to catch some eyes and again bring a lot of character to your Ram. Install will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and should only take you about 2 hours to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools and a little bit of elbow grease. Now, at this point, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get this onto your Ram at home. So that is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact and ratchet, a 17, 16, 15, 13, and 11 millimeter socket, 15 millimeter wrench, the supplied Allen key, a pry bar, exhaust hanger tool, diagonal cutters, lubricating spray, and grease. And also not shown to be a lift and pull jacks. All right, today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on a Ram, but first we're gonna watch a quick video how to uninstall the stock system, then we're gonna come back here to install the new one.
First step here, we're gonna grab our hanger removal tool and pop the hanger off right above our resonator on our passenger side tailpipe. The driver side tailpipe is one piece all the way back to the muffler inlet, so we're gonna attack that later. So for right now, we're gonna do this, and I've lubricated it with WD-40. That makes life a little bit easier. All right, next step, grab your ratchet and your 15 millimeter deep socket, and we're gonna loosen up the clamp holding the tailpipe to the rest of the exhaust assembly. All right, hanger's out of position, clamp is loosened up. Let's get this exhaust pipe off. All right, so at this point, we're gonna focus on our driver's side tailpipe. Now, like I said, it's all one piece. I have a pole jack here right behind the resonator just to give it some support once we start disconnecting things. I am gonna remove this tip, however. Removing this tip gives you another foot, maybe foot and a few inches of extra space that you don't have to worry about feeding out of the frame. So we're gonna take this guy off with a 13mm socket. Next, we can pop the hanger out of the isolator using our hanger removal tool right above that resonator. All right, so now we can disconnect the hangers right above the muffler outlet. There's one on each side. Grab your hanger removal tool and get these guys off. Now, as you can see, I have a pole jack here supporting this as well. So we have two different points of support for this exhaust. Now for this one, it's tough to get the hanger removal tool in here, so I'm gonna use my pry bar to get this guy off. All right, so next up, we're gonna focus on this flange here. Now you could bypass this and go straight back to the cat, but that's a lot of exhaust to take off in one piece, so I'm gonna separate it here. Now, once we have this taken care of, there is one more hanger to remove, but for now, grab your 16mm socket and disconnect these two bolts. All right, now when you pop this guy out of the hanger isolator, this is all gonna come loose, so you wanna be prepared for that. Before we do so, there's a ground strap here. I'm just gonna disconnect that from the factory tubing. All right, so that way it dangles here and we can reconnect it to our new exhaust later. So now we can grab our hanger removal tool and pop that guy off. All right, now you can take this exhaust off.
All right, before we get our new exhaust system installed, what we're gonna do is grab some grease. We're gonna go along all of our isolators, and we're just gonna grease up where the hanger will go inside, just to make it a little bit easier of the installation. All right, you just go ahead and do that with all the other isolators. All right, now we're gonna get our front muffler section set up. We're gonna put our rear hangers in first. We'll come up to our flange, put our front hanger in, then we can install our supplied bolts and nuts. All right, so we're gonna grab our bolts. They have a flat washer. We're gonna put that over, put that through, put our nut on the back side. Same thing for the other one. All right, now our bolt heads are gonna be 17mm and the nuts are 15. So we're gonna grab our impact with a 17mm socket and a 15mm wrench and tighten them down. All right, now we have our Y pipe section. So we'll put our clamp over first. All of our clamps are the same size, so it doesn't matter. Slide a Y pipe all the way down, and then while we're here, we can put our other two clamps over. All right, now we have our passenger side over the axle section. It's gonna come out on this side of the Y pipe. So we're gonna fish it up over the axle and slide it over. All right, now for the rear section for where our tip will mount to on the hangers, we do have our clamps here. One's gonna go on either side of the rubber isolator just to stop the movement. So there's a supplied Allen key. If you need to, just loosen up the Allen key. And for right now, you can just snug it up until we get the final adjustments. Then once it goes up there, just put this one up on the other side. All right, so now we can put our section up. You can see we have our clamp on here already. All right, and then we're just gonna put our other clamp loosely on the other side, and we'll come back and tighten them with the supplied Allen key. All right, now we have our driver's side over the axle section. It will be the longer section. So take it up and just twist it till it slides into place. All right, now we're gonna put on our rear driver's side section. We have our clamp on our pipe and also one of our clamps on our hanger. So we're gonna put it on our hanger first. And we can slide it in and then put our other clamp on the other side. All right, now we have our rear section for our tip. So we have our small pipe and then our ball clamp. So we're gonna put our ball clamp over. We're just gonna snug it up for right now so it doesn't fall off. So we're gonna grab our impact and 13mm socket. All right, now we can put our tip over, and then we have our hardware, which is a small bolt and an 11mm nut. So the bolt does have a square cut, so that will lock into place. Put your nut on the bottom. Then you can grab your impact and 11mm socket and tighten that down. All right, you can repeat the same thing on the other side for this pipe and the tip. All right, now we're gonna go back through starting from the front, working our way backwards and adjusting and tightening all of our clamps as we go. All right, so now we can start with our Y pipe. So we have our 3 clamps on our Y pipe. So I'm gonna grab our impact and 16mm socket. All right, now while we're here, all these lines are connected to the differential. We're gonna zip tie to this hole right here, just to make sure everything stays out of the way. All right, then you can take a pair of diagonal cutters and just cut off the excess. All right, now we're gonna come back to our driver's side and tighten our clamp back here. We're going to tighten our Allen bolts and our clamps with our Allen wrench that's supplied. And then we have our ball clamp. We're going to take our 13mm socket and tighten that down. All right, back on our passenger side, we have our 1 clamp, our 2 hanger clamps, and then our ball clamp.
So that's going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the AWE OFG dual rear exit exhaust system with the chrome silver tips, fitting all 2019 and newer 5.7 liter Ram 1500s with the factory dual exhaust system. And you can find this right here at AmericanTrucks.com.